On continue maintenant avec un mix de présentiel et à distance. Une nouvelle problématique, comment automatiser plus efficacement le transfert de ces données à des fins d'optimisation des ventes. Pour ce sujet, j'ai le plaisir d'accueillir sur scène Mabrouk Gadri pour Fivetran et qui va introduire donc le témoignage vidéo de Adrian McGill pour Fivetran aussi et de Alero Buxeres pour Wallbox, fournisseur intelligent de recharge pour véhicules électriques.
Allô? Oui, bonjour à tous. Donc, je suis Mabrouk Gadri, je suis ingénieur à vente chez Fivetran et je suis là aujourd'hui pour vous présenter notre solution. Donc, il ne vous est pas caché aujourd'hui que la data est un atout essentiel pour tout acteur de retail. Et afin de rester compétitif, le pattern qu'on voit chez Fivetran, c'est que le besoin qu'on voit chez Fivetran, c'est que les acteurs du retail ont besoin de centraliser leurs données dans un cloud data warehouse. Donc les données qui se trouvent dans différentes sources, aujourd'hui, elles ne sont pas simples à exploiter, à extraire. Donc quand je dis source, je pense au CRM, aux bases de données, aux fichiers, etc. Tout type de sources de données. Et donc Fivetran peut vous aider là-dessus en centralisant vos données dans un cloud data warehouse. L'idée ici, c'est de automatiser tout ce qui est automatisable, entre guillemets, pour que l'équipe data se focalise sur des projets plus intéressants pour eux, à savoir vous proposer à leur business des insights et des analytics qui sont plus directement liés au business, et ne pas se focaliser plutôt sur la partie infra et la partie création de data pipeline. Donc pour vous illustrer un cas d'usage du retail, je vous propose d'écouter cette interview avec notre client Wallbox, distributeur et fabricant et distributeur de solutions de recharge de véhicules électriques.
Thank you very much for joining the conversation today, folks. We're going to talk about how Wallbox leverages the best-in-class modern data stack with Fivetran, Databricks, and Snowflake, really to allow the business to be smarter and more effective in their data-driven decisions. What we're going to have in the next 12 minutes is walking away with some best practices around the modern data stack and some advice for people who might be starting out on their modern data stack journey. So some key takeaways in that area as well that you can bring back to your business. So first of all, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Adrian McGill. I work for Fivetran. So what Fivetran does is we manage your data pipelines in a very automated way. Key challenge that you face in the data world is all of the disparate data sources that you have. Trying to pull that together, centralize that, and analyze that is a very, very difficult thing. But Fivetran does that for you in a very automated way. So I'll hand you over to Alejo, who can introduce himself, and Wallbox as well.
Hello, so this is Alejo Buxeres. I joined nearly 2 years ago as head of data and analytics with the main goal of starting the data area from scratch. So Wallbox is just a 7-year-old company, was born in 2015 to change the way in which the world uses the energy. Basically, we started manufacturing chargers for EVs. First, very focused on the home users, but then we started pivoting to other user segments like business and public. In fact, last March, we started manufacturing our first public charger, which is Supernova. Apart from that, we are also transitioning from a more product-centered company, just selling boxes and that you install at your home, to selling services. So this makes especially sense when talking about the public chargers, because then we are not just selling boxes, we are selling charging service. Last but not least, the vision of the company is that a charger, especially on the home sector, will become like the smart brain for managing all the energy supply and demand in your house. In fact, just 2 years ago, we started manufacturing one of the first bidirectional chargers in the world. which allows you not only to provide energy for the car, but to get energy from your car for your house.
Sounds great. Sounds an exciting development for Wallbox. I look forward to seeing this come about. So let's jump into talking about the modern data stack. So we know you've got a modern data stack right now, but I'm keen to understand what the situation was at Wallbox before you introduced a modern data stack.
So before introducing the modern data stack, they were just using a BI tool, in this case, Tableau. It was already being used by several business users. And as they didn't have anything else, they were just connecting the BI tool directly to the data sources. That was a good starting point, but it had several challenges. So some of them were, first, there were lots of transformations, lots of business logic embedded inside the dashboards. And as you can imagine, this is difficult to evolve and maintain. Second, there were some quality issues, and they were difficult to trace and difficult to solve. And last but not least, still many areas had many data silos and could not get insights easily because they were just relying on the ability of the BI tool to connect to these data sources. So the first thing that we did when I joined, apart from growing the team from scratch, is to design what we call a modern data stack centered around a cloud data warehouse. So we first chose Snowflake as our corporate data warehouse, and then dbt as our modeling tool, so that we were doing ELT instead of the classical ETL. For the integration, we were evaluating different providers, and we found out that Fivetran was the most reliable and had a very large number of connectors. This overall helped us have our first data platform up and running in just a few months. And that way we could grow in a more governed and scalable way. And then later on, we saw that some of the use cases were not covered, mainly coming from internal data producers, mostly event-based and high volume ones. So we decided to build the lake to complement the warehouse, and we chose Databricks for that.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I think you touched upon something interesting a little while ago where you said, you know, in a modern data stack, you can now get it up and running in a matter of weeks or even maybe a matter of months. Whereas I know when I started working in the data world, to build out your architecture would take a huge amount of time, huge project, millions of dollars worth of investment, a couple of years. Whereas now you've got very specialized tools like Fivetran, like dbt, like Snowflake, like Databricks, where a lot of them are plug and play. There's a little bit of work involved in them, obviously, but that's a key aspect of it, that you can really get from zero to really adding value with the data in a very quick fashion, which is a huge shift from where we were a few years ago before all of these tools became a lot very common in the modern data stack world.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Even I can give you, for instance, just to show you two real use cases, okay, of how we have leveraged Fivetran and Databricks in our current modern data stack. So, for instance, in finance, we have NetSuite as our ERP. It's one of our most important sources in the company. For those of you who may have worked with Fivetran, is at least from a data point of view, it's a complex solution with lots of tables, maybe thousands of tables with hundreds of columns each of it. So being able to easily replicate those tables into the warehouse and the lake, and being able to then refine it and automate all the information analysis and reporting has been a huge milestone for us. Okay. Previously, finance people were doing many manual tasks, exporting CSVs or Excel files directly from the NetSuite user interface. This was also introducing some errors due to these manual interventions. And now we have an automated high-quality reporting. Another example is for the marketing team. They are using quite a bunch of ad platforms like LinkedIn, Google Ads, Bing, Facebook, and Amazon. It was quite complex for them to have like a holistic view of what they were spending on each of the platforms and what was the return of investment. With very easy to set up with Fivetran, we could set up very easily these integrations. And even that, on top of that, we have available for each of them a DBT package that refines all this data. And even on top of that, there is an extra package that unifies all this data coming from all the ad platforms in a single table. And then the end user, just in a single table, can see the performance of all the marketing campaigns independently of where they are. So that's also a very, very great advantage for another team in the company.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. Yeah, I think the tools get you so far advanced and kind of take away a lot of the manual work, which is great. I think we've got time for just one more question, which is the last question, really. I think if you think about, do you have any advice for someone who is about to embark on their modern data stack journey? Is there any key thing that you would advise them on?
Well, so modern data stack, as you know, is a trendy word since some years ago. I think it's an evolution of the previous data stacks for sure. But you have to take into account several things. Okay, first, I would say that so thinking about all the typical layers in a data stack, the integration layer is one of the ones that has evolved more. It's now very automated, and it saves you, as I already mentioned, lots of development and maintenance efforts. I would say, first, don't get pushed back by the price, okay? Because this may save you lots of human hours. So that's the first thing, okay? So try to really think from a holistic point of view, and from a not short term, okay, in a medium long term, because this can save you lots of human hours, okay. And also you need to consider that hiring and retaining skilled data engineers is not an easy task nowadays. Another key aspect, I would say, is interoperability. So the modern data stack is composed of several building blocks, and the better they can interoperate, the less headaches you will have. So always try to look for solutions that are API first, okay? So that let you operate them not only from the UI, but also in a programmatic way. This will help you a lot integrating. For instance, Fivetran is very easily integrated with orchestration tools like Airflow, okay? Another key aspect is cost control. For sure, all SaaS solutions, especially the ones that are pay as you go or pay per consume, okay? You need to be able to trace in an easy way how much you're spending and where you're spending the money. Fivetran also in this area, I think it's quite good, because it's quite easy for you to see on a monthly basis how much you're spending and where you're spending your money. Last but not least, I would say metadata is key. Metadata is key in the modern data stack, so each building block should help you in that direction. Also, Fivetran released some time ago what they call the metadata API, that even it's already being used by some tools like data catalogs, so that you can have a full end-to-end vision of how the data is flowing through the different building blocks in your modern data stack.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you very much for all that, Alejo. That was really valuable to kind of hear about all of that. I know there is a Fivetran booth if anybody has any particular questions, but myself and Alejo are obviously on LinkedIn as well. So if anybody has any particular questions for us, feel free to reach out. Thank you very much for your time, guys. I hope you enjoy the day.
Thank you.
Merci d'avoir écouté. Si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas à venir nous voir au stand numéro 10. Merci.